What's going on, YouTube? It's Filmy, and welcome to Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. It's like a puzzle sort of type of game. I don't know, but it's real official. I had to put in what time it was, all types of stuff. Um, I guess it's like a break the fourth wall kind of game. You see how there's like infinite computers over there? Let's check it out.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Slavery. Well, I mean, he's getting paid.
Relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, we're up now. Okay, so I think it's like, what is it called? It's not Parkinson's. It's like, it's some kind of thing where like, when you're held captive or for a long time, you want to go back when you're free because you don't know what to do with yourself. That's kind of like what he's experiencing right now. I do not know what it's called though. Okay. I mean, can we not open? I don't even have a reticle.
Co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, meeting room. Is this like a horror game? I'm getting like Backrooms vibes almost. But this is supposed to be like a really puzzling game, so I'm watching everything, even the configuration of the lights, you know, down to the last detail. Coffee spilled.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
y'all can't just shut doors.
Left.
He entered the door on his left. So what if I go to the door on my right? Are they gonna kill me?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Y'all can't be shutting doors, bro. For some reason, this game's more unsettling than the average horror game. Maybe because it feels more real. Like the setting we're in. 447. Their computer's on. What's that say? Can't read it. I mean, should we be investigating this, Stanley?
Nope.
That looks like a meeting room to me.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
So I can't interact with anything.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Can you let me do what I'm doing? Don't try to make this an argument, Mr.
At
Narrator.
this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and
All
reflected
right, man, I'm
poorly on
leaving.
his overall.
I'm
But
leaving.
at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Do I? Oh, you interact with X. I don't think I should have did this though.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Okay, so it's X, he types.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Bro, I shouldn't be getting scared at these.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on?
He's about to kill me. He's about to kill me.
Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
They're about to hit me with this car, by the way. Who's in here? Why is there just a turned on van? Why are we going further down?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
No.
And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
So, okay, so essentially the narrator is just
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm gonna do what he says this time. Maybe the narrator, I mean, what kind of power does he have to just reset everything? You know?
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or...
How can I move the story?
Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Man. Okay. I don't think I like where this is going. Something about it's off-putting. I just want to go to the meeting room. I never meant to do all this. This is the back rooms.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can
Well,
promise
you're not
you
on it.
there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Can I type? Just want to go back to my desk job. Where's the camera at? He said there was a camera in here that told me what to say and do, right? Hate Mondays? Real.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Go to the meeting room. It's simple.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
What do you mean, miss something? Where'd the music go? This is the back room, I'm telling you. Something's gonna chase me.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
I mean, you are just incompetent, aren't you? You wrote a book.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the
I hope
story?
not.
I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
What if I
Do
jumped
you
out of a
remember,
window?
Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
That was easy.
I
Simple.
know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all.
Make
We
up
both
your
know You didn't
mind.
put in any actual work for that win. Some people win
What?
fair and square, and
No, I
this was
did.
not one of those situations.
I did put in
Okay?
work.
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Alright, man. The Stanley Parable Adventure
All right,
Line.
I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Look how the line's trademarked. Okay. We never had to go here before. He's trying to kill me.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
And what is the story?
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the
confusing me.
nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
That's the best idea you've had. This is chase music. This is unsettling. Something about this is unsettling. I want the narrator to come back. I'm hearing thumping.
Wait, cut the music.
Thank
Go
you.
back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay. Is it breathing? See, he's making me feel crazy. Alright, I've studied it enough. think I'll remember it. Okay.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Well, this is where I was supposed to go, obviously.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this
What's
to us?
down there?
And after we trusted you.
It's like a
after
control
everything
sensor.
we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Am I not supposed to be listening to him?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story?
We tried
Something
that.
Exciting.
You keep
daring,
stopping me.
Mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Can I walk through the wall? No. Okay. Something's changing. What? So it's a circle. Until it's not a circle. And I'm back at the office. Okay. Maybe I just keep going in the circle. I mean, what is this game? What am I supposed to be doing? There's no way to win. Oh, okay. This is new. Or is it not?
Oh, no,
okay.
not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
I trust the line more than you because you're trying to hide the monitor room and it's showing me it, so... You weren't trustworthy from the beginning. It went up into the ceiling.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
I don't want to open that one. I want to open this one. The confusion ending.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all
I'd like to read this, but he's still talking.
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing. Wall.
Stanley dies.
Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going
Well,
on.
look at what's
I don't want
it's
to be
saying is
trapped
gonna
like this.
happen.
I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that
Stop.
mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now.
Oh, this is where we are.
We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Oh, that killed him. So supposedly the narrator forgets everything now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The only one I read is by the 7th attempt is going to be an all-black room. That's what they said.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm gonna follow what he says. Let's see what happens.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Tips
Feeling
for
a
not
wave
getting
of
fired.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Does they have an automatic slideshow? Boss's office.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
He said up, but what's down?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Okay.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
I'm trying to look at the
And at
times.
last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
12.
I'm dreaming!
7,
He yelled.
2.
This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an
4,
explanation.
2,
His co-workers weren't actually gone.
1B.
He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Whoa.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Good question.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
Why
I'm
is this a
dreaming
loop?
about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life,
I mean, this is
Now,
just a
hearing the voice speak these words was
bundle
quite a
of
shock to
confusion.
Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
This makes me scared to dream now, because if I was in this, I don't know what I would do.
He thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
Oh, I can see out the corner of my
All
eye.
I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
So why didn't this narrator want to restart?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
So
then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Stanley. The end is never the end.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, did the game actually restart, or did it never end?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly.
I should have went to the meeting.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Never came in here before.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not jump from the cargo lift while it's in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off cargo lift, $5,000. Well, how are you gonna, if it will cause death, how are you gonna find me?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Why is he trying to joke? So that just... Okay, I'm just gonna listen to what he says.
All of his co-workers were gone.
I'm just
What
gonna
could
listen
it
to what he
mean?
says.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of
Because
two
at this
open
point, I
doors,
feel like the
he
game
entered the door and
restarted. If we would have followed what the confusion ending thing said, I feel like we would have got the confusion ending. But since we didn't, I feel like we just reset the entire
Yet
thing.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boss?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
If the stick drift doesn't let me do it.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
And then what did I do? I'm gonna fall in there. The elevator's not there yet. Right? Oh, it is. Okay.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
It says escape, but I'm gonna listen to him. This is the bottom half of that area we walked in earlier.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with
Yeah, we were
television
up there.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Okay, maybe we're getting somewhere. Oh, cameras. So someone else must have turned this on when we were up there. Someone else did this because they weren't on
monitors
it
jumped
before.
to life, their true nature revealed.
Where's
Each
my
bore
number?
the number of an employee in the building.
Okay.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
That doesn't explain why I'm here alone, though.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very
How
place.
did they hook
And
you up
as
to
the
this?
cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
It looks like I could press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but what's this?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
So just press off then, right? So why was everybody else gone? Were they dead?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
Yeah.
How had he been freed from the machine's
Maybe they're on
grasp?
vacation.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
But I can probably choose to stay, can't I? Nope, I can't. Well,
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path.
how do
before
you
him.
get to work here?
This was exactly the way, right now.
Because he was at work.
that
He had a
things
wife
were
and
meant
kids.
to happen. And
What?
Stanley was happy.
Beat the game. Okay, I'm seeing what this is. It's a game of infinite possibilities, and though it was interesting, it is over. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, make some mention to me, to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.